Hi, welcome to episode 11. Dang, that's a lot. Doesn't feel like that much. We are joined by the one and only Mikey Lopez. What's going on, Mikey?
What's up, man? What's up? Appreciate y'all for having me.
For
Yeah,
sure.
and we are joined by yours truly, Gunner, as usual. What's good, Gunner?
What's up, y'all?
Yeah, so what is it? We're recording this Monday, July 13th, so 2 days before we face off against Memphis, rivalry game at home. So what you been up to, Mikey? Like, how's this Corona period been? Like, what have you been doing basically to prepare
Yeah, it's
for
been
this exciting game?
first of all, it's been crazy. The coronavirus has been it's been not good. It's not been good. Just trying to find any different ways to stay sane. I was doing school and I bought a Lego stadium set. So I bought Old Trafford and I built that, so it's pretty cool. And just been working out and playing video games, just trying to kill time until we got to where we're at now. Um, but we've been, like you said, we've been getting ready for Wednesday, and I think Wednesday will be an exciting game against Memphis. So it'll be fun, and we're all just really excited for it and ready for it.
As you just said, Memphis is a team that Legion fans on social media have been going crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, everything kind of just came up. It started overnight, with everyone in Birmingham, England. What's the feeling in the locker room right now? I mean, I don't want to touch on this right now because it's Legion, so we can save it for a little later. But like, you're getting back with the guys now. What's the mentality like? I mean, you guys haven't played in a while, so I mean, big first game against a really big opponent. What's the mentality like for the 15th?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's just really hungry and excited to get play and to get started again. I think we're just super anxious and it's just chomping at the bit to get to Wednesday and get our first game under our belt. Uh, it sucks that we had to wait this past weekend because I guess there were already like games played this past weekend, so just kind of sucks on that aspect. But we're all really excited for Wednesday.
And another thing, it's on ESPN2, I think. So I mean,
Yeah,
that's like national
yeah,
perspective of people getting to watch.
yeah. So we gotta put on a performance for everyone.
Yeah, and sweet. So Legion got a little sneak peek of that preview of what we'll have coming later in this podcast, but I want to back up to Mission, Texas. That's where you're from, right?
Yeah, that's where I'm from. That's where I grew up, and I love that place.
Yeah, so you basically started in Texas, made your way all the way to UNC, played for UNC, the Tar Heels, won a national championship too, which some people might not know.
I,
Mhm.
we won it at the
Oh,
Hoover Met.
you
Wow.
did?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah,
I did not realize that.
yeah.
That's kind of like Ben, sidetrack here a little bit, but Ben, he actually with Santa Barbara,
Santa
right?
Clara,
Santa
Santa
Clara.
Clara playing
Right.
against UAB.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
it's crazy how all this connects somehow. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. We actually played. So yeah, we played at the Hoover Met, and we played. The semifinal was against UCLA, and Chandler was on that team,
wow,
and we beat them in pens, and then we won. We beat Charlotte to win the championship.
awesome.
I didn't
So,
realize that. It's crazy how many links there are in college and pro.
yeah,
Like,
well, I
who
mean,
would have thought?
the soccer world is just really small. I mean, everyone knows someone that played with someone. Like everyone's just like really connected. So the soccer world, sports world, is just really, really small.
Yeah, and then so you won a natty in 2011. Went on, got drafted by Sporting Kansas City.
Yeah.
So 14th overall, I believe. So what was that process like arriving in Sporting Kansas City, realizing that you're on an MLS team? Are you just like mind boggled, like I actually made it, or has it been something in your head that you knew that was your end goal?
I mean, that was something that I always wanted. I knew once I got drafted that it wasn't it was a goal that I met, but it wasn't necessarily the end goal. It was just like another step into what I'm trying to achieve in my career and in my life. But yeah, I mean, it was just amazing getting that whole process was unreal, to be honest. It was just amazing getting picked by Sporting in that draft year. So yeah, it was just yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool when they called my name and I was like able to shake the commissioner's hand and make a speech, and was able to take pictures with the jersey at that time, and be able to celebrate that moment with my family was really cool.
For sure. Ethan, if you don't mind, throwing it back to your days at UNC, speak a little bit about the level of competition that the ACC had. I mean, my dad went to Boston College, so I've done my fair share of camps up in Chestnut Hill. So I know what it's like in the competition there for sure. But I mean, I don't think people understand that ACC is easily one of the best conferences. I mean, I live probably 30 minutes away from Notre Dame, and I'll go to games sometimes, and just seeing the level of competition that comes through there is really, really crazy, and it's really impressive. So just speak a little bit about, you know, some of the competition you saw, the coolest places to play, and just your favorite memories from UNC.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, which is going to be biased, obviously, because I went to UNC and I played in the ACC. I think the ACC is, like you said, the best conference in for soccer. And it was just a grind, man. I mean, honestly, we played a lot of good teams, like UVA. Who else was in the UVA?
Clemson would have been.
Clemson, yeah, Clemson was good. Duke was. They weren't as, I guess, as good as they are now, but it was always like a really tough game playing against them. BC was really good as well.
Got to shout out Bruno Lapa with Wake Forest too.
Yeah, Wake was always a really tough game as well. So I mean, NC State was a tough game. Yeah, it's just like every team just was really good and really competitive. So I mean, I think that playing in that conference definitely helped me make that transition to the MLS, to the pros.
And the last thing that I'll mention about UNC, just from a perspective of leisure, what was it like attending some games at the Dean Dome?
Yeah, it was really cool. The game that stands out the most, and not really for a good reason that it stands out. We won the national championship, and we got presented at one of the games, and it was a game against Duke, at home, and it was just it was a memorable game because we got to go to be on the court at halftime, but the reason it wasn't such a good memory was because we lost at a buzzer beater with Austin Rivers hitting the buzzer beater against us. So that part sucked, but it was just really cool to experience that game because UNC Duke basketball is such a big time rivalry, and it was a really fun experience for me.
For sure. It feels like that game was like 3 years ago. I can't believe it was that long ago. Now that you're saying that.
It was so long ago.
Sweet. I fast tracked a little there, skipped over UNC, so we had to bring it back for Gunner. But yeah, I just want to, man, I can never say it right, so I'm just gonna say New York City FC. So basically, you went from Sporting Kansas to New York City FC. Yeah, that's it. See, I'm a Revs fan, so
okay.
Yeah,
but
hey, my dad grew up there, so
okay.
The benefit of that is you can go to Gillette and get second row tickets for like $30, whereas for Patriots games they're like thousands of dollars. So yeah, so you go to New York. What was your experience like there?
I loved it. Honestly, I think that those 2 years were one of my best times as playing in the MLS, and I really enjoyed my time there. Being able to play with legends and being able to be coached by a legend was just an amazing experience. And for me as a player and as a person, And just living in New York, you can't ever complain about living in New York except for probably how expensive and how cold it can get there. But everything else about New York is just amazing. So it was really a really good time for me.
You're bringing back some great memories, man, because I don't want to go too in-depth personally, but I remember a few Christmases back. I remember being in New York City, and you were shoulder to shoulder. This is before coronavirus,
Okay,
if you can remember a time about that. Just shoulder to shoulder. You could not move up, like seeing the big, in Rockefeller Square,
Okay.
the big Christmas service. I remember honking, awful traffic, shoulder to shoulder, you could not move. So I remember and it was under zero. So I mean, I'm from Indiana, so like that's not a huge deal, but like freezing cold weather.
Oh, sure. Yeah. No. The winter over there sucks. It's just miserable.
A lot different from Texas and Birmingham, though.
Yeah. Very very different.
Yeah. Gunner, I thought we just might have lost you right there, but we're all good. Did you ever? Okay, New York is like New York City, renowned for their pizza. Do you have any memorable pizza spots there?
Yeah, I do. The one that I would go to the most was because it was really close to us. Because I lived in Connecticut. I lived in Stamford, Connecticut, and so it was across the street from where our apartment was Fortina. Fortina had some amazing pizza. But we did get a couple slices in like Manhattan, kind of close to Madison Square Garden, and that was some really good pizza. I don't remember the name of it, but yeah, I mean, pizza over there is different. It's something different about pizza over there compared to everywhere else.
Yeah, I know. In New Haven, Connecticut. Many people declare that the pizza capital of the world. Actually,
Really?
Yeah, I'm surprised. And out of all places, New Haven, Connecticut.
Yeah, New Haven. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So basically, you took the leap from NYCFC. There we go. Down to San Antonio, Texas. So a little closer to home, with San Antonio FC, who actually Zachary Hervokes is now with.
Yeah.
If I'm saying that correctly. Half the guys' names I always butcher them.
We always have to ask. Anytime we have a guy on, I feel like we got to ask for the correct pronunciation. You know, Kusera, all these guys.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good.
Matu was like, I'm getting there slowly but surely. Yeah. But yeah. So you jumped down to USL full time. What was that like? Because obviously MLS is first division in the US, USL Championship second division. What was that like? Almost jumping down a division.
It was more that I wanted to get more games in. Because unfortunately I didn't get as many games as I wanted in the MLS. So going down to the USL was a way to showcase myself again and show that I can play and that I'm good enough to play still. So that was the thought process behind going to San Antonio, was so that I can be able to get more games and showcase myself. And it was just lucky that it was San Antonio was the team that wanted me, because I used to, well, obviously I'm from Texas, and that's San Antonio is like 3-4 hours north of where I'm from. But I grew up in a boarding school in Austin, and then I would play for my senior year. I played for a club team in San Antonio, so I know San Antonio and that central Texas area really well from my youth. So it was just really cool to be back there, be back in my home state, and cities that I can call home as well.
I wanted to ask you this. It's about another San Antonio team, and I'm not sure how much cross sport action you're getting involved with during your professional career, but the San Antonio Missions are AA Padres affiliate. Do you ever go to any games?
No, we didn't.
I was going to say, I didn't know if you're a baseball fan, but like a lot of our podcasts, we end up talking about the Barons. So just out of curiosity.
I enjoy baseball, actually. I enjoy baseball, live baseball. I can watch like playoff baseball. I'm not regular season baseball kind of it bores me a little, but I mean I can handle it. But I prefer to watch live baseball or playoff baseball. Actually, my first ever experience with watching an MLB game was the World Series between the Royals, Kansas City Royals, and the San Francisco Giants.
Yep.
It was game one, and it was the first time I want to say it was the first time that the Royals made the World Series in like 30 some years, or like it was an extremely long time, and I was able to get tickets for it. So I went to the game, and I was just like, it was really fun. And when I was in New York, I went to a couple of Royals games, but when I was in New York, I went to a Yankee game. So that was pretty cool too. Last year we went to a Barons game, and that was really fun. It was just that stadium is amazing. Regent Stadium is really cool. So yeah, but unfortunately, I never went to a missions game.
So you mentioned the Barons, and the last time I was on, or 2 times ago when we were talking to Chandler, I brought out this question because I always see him wearing the Magic City baseball jersey.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what your knowledge is of the Barons, but what do you think is the cleanest uniform they have? Because they got the pinstripes, they got the red, they got the Magic City collab, a bunch of really, really cool looks.
I like that Magic City one. I don't know all their other
Yeah.
uniforms, but the one that Chandler always wore, that was pretty dope. I thought it was something that he got for himself, like he probably like customized it or something. But
okay, yeah.
But when I went to a Barons game, I saw it. There's like, oh, this is a Barons jersey. This is dope. I really like that Magic City one.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta second that. Plus, what is it? You and Justin Jerschel, who's the manager of the Barons, same team right there. That's his favorite.
Oh, okay.
But so you're in good company there.
That's good.
Yeah. So since Gunnar brought up the Barons, I guess we can shift over to present day. About a year ago from present day. But you joined the Legion. Man, what? Basically, what was the process going from San Antonio to Birmingham?
Yeah, I mean, I think the one of the main reasons I came here was because of Jay Heaps, and I've known Jay for a while because obviously he coached the Revs, and I would play against them during my time in the MLS, and I knew that he wanted to trade for me actually at one point. I don't know if it was I think it was during my time at Kansas City, and I know once I left Kansas City, they're one of the teams that wanted to sign me. So just knowing that he was going to be here, and knowing that Coach Tommy was also a part of his staff at New England, that really intrigued me. And then they invited me to come here to check out the city, because I've never outside of coming here for the national championship, I never really saw Birmingham, so I didn't know what Birmingham was all about. So I came here and I saw the city, and honestly, I fell in love with the city because the city was just like really amazing. It's nothing that I ever thought what Birmingham would look like. It was amazing. So I just think the combination of how nice the city was, and like having Jay and Tommy and the MLS staff that they have here, I think that's what kind of pushed me over the edge to sign here.
And for a first-year team, speaking about last year, you guys overcame kind of a rocky start to put together a really, really solid season.
Yeah.
So what could you speak about that shows a little bit about the determination of the squad to go from middle of the season being as low as 17th in the table, and then just making that push for playoffs and clinching that last spot to make it in your first inaugural season?
Yeah, I think a lot of the first half of that season was really unfortunate, and I think we were pretty unlucky in a lot of times that we just couldn't really get a rhythm, and it just like once we lost one, it just kind of kept rolling that way, and we just never really got out of that funk. But I think it just shows the determination, the fight that the team had to basically fight back from death to that's kind of bad phrase of bad way of wording it, but we were, like you said, at the bottom, and we fought back to get a playoff spot, and I think that just showed the determination, the grit that the team had, and the quality we had, because a lot of the teams that we beat during that run were some really good teams, and we a lot of times we outplayed them, and it just showed that we just need to get our rhythm and find our feet, and once that happened, we took off.
For sure. And I mean, some games that come to mind that near the end of the season are, Red Bulls 2. And I mean, after losing 5-0 to them at Red Bull at their stadium, and then also the Indy 11 game was an absolute classic near the end of the season. I'm sure we're going to have some other stuff from Ethan, but the NCFC playoff game, describe the emotions. Because I mean, I remember being at BBVA watching that on the screen, because they offered that to the fans. And just that atmosphere is like something I will never forget. And like the emotions there. And I'm sure after JJ, banged in the game-winning goal, like in the final seconds on the field, that would have been just insane to be there and watch.
Yeah.
But just speak about the emotions of that game and just and having that as your opening round of playoffs, like that contest. Just speak a little bit about how insane that was. Yeah,
I mean, that, like you said, that was a really crazy game. We came back twice, and then we won at the end. I never really felt, even though we went down, like I said, down. Was it early in the game? Semi early.
You came back. You guys came back twice. It was tied at 1-1 and then tied at 2-2.
Yeah. And like both times that we went down, I never really felt that we were gonna lose that game. I always had a belief and confidence that we were gonna win that game no matter what. I didn't think we were gonna win it at the very end. I was getting ready for extra time. I was mentally preparing myself for extra time, but I mean, that game was wild. Honestly, I think whenever he hit that and I saw it go in, we all just jumped and got super excited because we knew we won it. But yeah, I mean, during that whole game, I just never felt that we were gonna lose. I didn't think we were gonna lose.
Got to make a quick shout out. So if you remember Femi from last year, he's from my hometown.
Okay.
Not the African hometown, but his American hometown. But anytime I'm wearing a Legion jersey, I'm rocking Femi 88 on the back. Okay. So that's my boy, and he scored that game to make it 1-1, I think, because Hervo would have been the second goal. But just the other thing I wanted to ask, obviously JJ isn't with you guys right now, but when I see him flex after he scores and just the walk he does and the flex, like that just makes me want to, just get up and flex myself. So that energy that I see when all the team, flocks to him and he's just flexing on somebody, happened against Loudoun United and then happened in that game. Like that is just something that would get me hyped up. So just to see all that, it's like such a great memory for me.
Yeah, for sure.
But that game was crazy for sure.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, you're giving me flashbacks. I got the JJ goal on repeat right now in my head. Man, I miss that guy. We'll have to get him on once he makes a appearance for ATL.
For sure.
Yeah, man.
He does.
But what is it? I wanted to go into, that was actually going to be my next question. Gunnar took it, the NCFC game. But Gunnar mentioned Femi, and that reminded me, Femi went from up top all the way to the back line throughout the season. And similarly to you started in the midfield and then transitioned to right back. So it's for some players, it's very difficult to do that. For some, it comes with ease. It's just in your blood. What was that like? Was it like one day Tommy came up to you and was like, hey, yo, Mikey, you're playing right back? Or was it like progressively like a thing like, oh, this is an option? Or just take us through that, like that position switch.
Yeah, I actually was the one that offered it to him that I could play right back, because at the time we were who was our right back? I don't remember who our right back was, but I think we had a couple of injuries and it was injuries to our right back, and we didn't have any other ones, so we needed like people to play. And I think the there was 2 games before I played as a right back, and Femi was playing there. And I just offered to Tommy, saying that I could play right back, because during my time at New York, I would train as a right back a lot of times, but I would play as a center mid. There were a couple games where I did play. One game against Minnesota United that I played as a right back, and then a game against Chicago Fire, we were down a man. I played as a left back. So I've already had experience playing, or some experience playing the outside back position. So I just offered it to him, and he said, yeah, we'll take a look at it in training. And we trained, and I played there, and he was like, yeah, like, will you be okay with playing there? I was like, yeah, I don't care. And so that's how I ended up playing as a right back in the second half of the season.
And by golly, it paid off, man.
It wasn't like oh, here you go, dude, you're gonna throw you out there and figure it out. I already knew a little bit. I knew some of how to play it, and because like I said, I had some time training at that position in New York. So yeah.
Yeah, I was running gun through your stats from last year, and I flat out said Gunner. I was like, okay, I knew Mikey was solid. I did not know he was this solid. I mean, your stat line was
leading
like
the team in tackles. I mean,
insanity.
that like caught me off guard. I'm like, dude, that's impressive.
Thank you.
Passes too, I know, and a list of other stuff. But yeah, it was truly remarkable what you accomplished there. And what is it? Shifting away from last year to this year, the outlook has always been to bring a championship to Birmingham. And with this team is definitely strong this year. You got the likes of Nico Brett, who's been a great addition. Brian Wright here full time now. Who else am I missing? Oh yeah, Alex in the back line. What's Bolu? Yeah, that guy's. I don't know how that worked out. I don't know how Nashville didn't pick him up to go to MLS.
We're not complaining.
No, we are not complaining. But yeah, what are your expectations and what's your outlook for this season? Obviously, it's a modified season heavily.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, obviously, we just got to keep building on what we did last year, and I think obviously our main objective is to win a championship and bring a championship back to Birmingham. But we want to, like last year we made playoffs, but we didn't get to host any games. This year we want to make playoffs and host games and be able to hopefully host the championship here. So I think that's the main objective, is to get in this modified season, is to get as many points as possible so that we can host playoff games here and try and put on a show for our fans and play in front of our fans and not have to travel for those games, because playoff games, home field advantage really matters in playoff games, and having those types of games here in front of our fans would be massive for our club, and I think that's priority number one, besides winning a championship.
Gunner, I'm gonna throw it over.
Sweet. Okay. Let's, Mike, if you're okay with it, let's take a little break from soccer, because I got to ask you about fashion and style.
Okay.
You know, I see you as one of the main guys that's often featured on, Legion social media accounts with your pregame outfits.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, I also remember you talking. I might ask this one first, because I remember you talking about this was when you were featured on the Insta Live. And I think somebody asked you about your favorite sneakers or something. And I think, if I'm correct, you mentioned the Jordan 11 UNC colorway.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so just to clarify, are those your favorite sneakers? Do you have another favorite pair of sneakers? And I'm talking about sneakers, not like Chandler took it a whole new route with, his designer shoes and whatever, all the money he has, all that stuff. Speak about solely sneakers.
I think some of the other ones that I have, like the React 87s, like the see-through Reacts, I think those are really cool, just because if you put on some crazy socks, it kind of changes the shoe. It doesn't make the shoe look the same as if you were to wear normal socks. My other shoes that are one of my go-tos right now are like the LeBron John Elliott icon.
Ooh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Those are also like kind of see through. So I have a pair of pink ones and a pair of brown ones. I think those are really cool. So I think those two shoes are one of my favorites just because of how they're see through and you can kind of change them up with wearing different types of socks with them.
For sure. Another thing I wanted to mention, and I mean, we've asked this to both guys, and they never want to throw anybody under the bus.
I know.
So I'm gonna ask this to the best of my ability. Okay. Who has the most interesting style on the team? Because I always like to say, who's the worst dressed and just who puts together the ugliest outfits. But who's the most interesting, guy who puts together the most interesting outfits?
Most interesting outfits. The most interesting outfit I can think of right now on the top of my head is Matt Van Oekel.
Oh, okay.
There's a couple times, obviously we haven't been able to dress up to training except for we had to show up in our training gear this year. But last year, he would wear some jorts, but they were cut like high. They were like really high jorts. And he would rock a man tank.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that was pretty interesting. Besides him wearing, like, whenever he wears that, he decides to wear that to trading. He has decent style. But that's one of the most interesting ones. From this year, I can't really think of anyone from this year because we didn't really have many opportunities to dress up. I guess going last year again, probably would say we had a couple times where we made fun of Kyle Culbertson for the shoes that he wore. He would wear a pair of Chacos, and it didn't really fly all that well in the locker room. We gave him some. We made fun of him for those. But yeah, I mean, I can't really. Those are the two interesting outfits that I would point out from last year. But yeah, I think Matt has decent style, except for when he wears that. I just think like you look, bro. But
I remember I used to have my internship was Birmingham futsal, and we did it at Sports Blast. And I remember seeing, this is like before I really knew too much about the team because it was still really early on in before the season started last year. But I always saw Matt as a dude just wearing Adidas slides, shorts, and like an American flag tank top. Like, this dude better be a goalie or something because like I could not see him playing any other position. Yeah. Another thing about Matt, since we're talking about him, you got to address the hair. Because for a little bit recently, he's kind of had your hair, or at least tried to, and did his best interpretation. Because, I mean, think about it. I mean, nobody can have your hair, but he tried. So could you speak a little bit about him trying to go blonde?
Yeah, I told him he needed to buy more purple shampoo because his hair started to look a little gold. But no, it was cool. It was cool that he tried it. It actually kind of looked decent on him, to be fair.
He's also one of those dudes that goes so high when he shaves the sides. Yeah. It's basically just a mohawk, but I mean, it doesn't look bad on him.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all. I think, his hair looked pretty decent. He just needed to maintain it a little bit better than what he did. But yeah, he actually cut it off now. I don't know if y'all have seen it.
Yeah. I have not seen it, but
yeah. I think he's gone back to like an older haircut that he had. It's just like another mohawk type.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're throwing me back to the purple shampoo days when I first went with the streak. Yeah. This is a product of coronavirus too, so that's the only reason why it's there. I mean, you get bored in an apartment by yourself, so.
Yeah, I feel you.
But the other style question I wanted to ask, because we mentioned this with Chandler, favorite Legion uniform combo, because I mean, you got obviously the new kit with the Civil Rights Institute looks super cool as of today.
Yeah.
So really recent. And obviously the Sweet Home, the red kit as the third kit this year. So speak about your and not just jersey top, but favorite combo, because like I'm a huge fan of the black, white, and white, and then the white, black, white. So if you could pick any actual full kit to wear, what would it be?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think those two are one of my favorites as well. The black, white, white, and white, black, white. It'll be interesting to see if we do some type of color combo with the red. Obviously, red, black, and white are colors that go really well.
Sure.
So it'll be interesting what we do with those three colors. But yeah, I think the black, white, white really looked good last year. This year, hopefully, we do something like red, black, white, or red, black, black, or red, white, white would be pretty cool.
For sure. I was thinking about red, white, white.
Yeah, red, white, red would be cool. Or white, red, white. Yeah, I think we have
bunch of options.
A lot. We have a lot of options this year, so it'll be interesting what we come up with. But from what we've already worn, I think the black, white, white, or white, black, white. I think those are one of my two favorite color combos, and those were our lucky ones last year because going all black and going all white just did not work out for us.
Right.
For most
sure.
of the year last year.
Yeah, that red. If there's one color to go away from the traditional white and black of Birmingham Legion, red was the move. I mean, that just pops.
For sure.
But yeah, okay, so moving back from style, fashion, all that, Van Okel's interesting fashion choices. By the way, we just imagine a postcard in that outfit with a whole box of donuts just indulging.
We need
that. We're thinking up of designs for postcards and stuff that we need to brand with Birmingham sports to take us to the next level.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
We'll hook you up if we ever do that. But yeah, so everybody knows about Nico, Alex, the big names. But who's your of the new guys? Who's your so-called sleeper that you feel like that could have the most impact that nobody's really expecting? Like kind of like you got your Jake Russ, you got your Johnny Deans. I don't know. Yeah. For me personally, Johnny Dean, I don't know why. I have this gut feeling that he's going to contribute in some way. Yeah. But I don't know what way. But
yeah, I think Johnny and Bruno are going to be two players to look out for, two new guys. I think those two guys will be really good and will be really fundamental for our team to bring success for us. I think those two guys are going to be two good guys to keep an eye on because of for Johnny how athletic he is and how he can get up and down the field, and he's a good defender and he can do well in the attack. And Bruno is just really clean on the ball and is smart. Has a really smart soccer brain, and the way he manipulates the ball is really good too. So I think those two guys will be really good.
John's, what is it, insane strike? Have you seen that whenever he's at UCF? Is like outside the box.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just got that feeling, whenever you got that gut feeling about someone, you just don't know why. But we need to get Johnny Dean on here.
We need to get a lot of guys on here.
We do. We got Van. We got time. Though.
I mean, to be completely honest, we love all of the sports that Birmingham has to offer, but we're just diehard Legion fans, so like that's our primary focus.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Ethan, if you don't mind me asking one more question, and Mikey, I totally understand if you don't want to spoil anything you have planned. Yeah. But my personal favorite celebration, I would say easily within the top 3 of all Legion players, was you going over and punching out the corner flag against Bethlehem Steel. Do you have anything planned? And feel free to speak on it if you want to, but if you want to keep it a surprise, any crazy plans for celebrations?
No, not really.
Is it just spur of the moment? Is it just like something that comes to you when you want to do it?
So that celebration, I guess I kind of made that my celebration. I did that against Hartford and against Birmingham, against Bethlehem. And the reason I do that is because my dad was an amateur boxer, and I would like box around when I was little. So it's just kind of like an ode to him.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that's kind of why. So I guess I made that my celebration. Now I'll probably do some type of dance or something. But I think like punching the corner flag, I think that's really cool. So, and not many people do that. So yeah.
Well, now we know the meaning behind it, and that's cool that it has a personal meaning attached to you. So I did not know that.
Yeah.
Well, was it any final thoughts from anybody? you wanna plug anything, Mikey?
No, not really. Just thank you for having me. It was really fun, and hopefully we can do more of these, and hopefully y'all can get more of the team on here, more players from the team, and yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we really appreciate having you. There we go. Yeah, man. Well, Wednesday, we're gonna try to get this up before Wednesday. Wednesday night, Memphis 901 at home. Be sure to tune in. See Mikey lead the team out. Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us, Mikey.
Yeah, for sure. No, thank y'all for having us, and if y'all can make it on Wednesday, hopefully y'all do. But if not, stay safe and watch it at home, and yeah, just be safe during this crazy time because it's no joke out here with Corona.
For sure.
Yeah.
Right. See you guys in the next one. Hammer down.
Yeah, for sure. Hammer down.